Hey, Bobby. So, real big game here tonight. 5-1 turnaround from the result out on Westchester. Team really looked dynamic going forward. Thoughts on the attack tonight for the Hearts?
Yeah, I thought we were good in transition. I think, it all stems from our against the ball stuff. And I think the last few weeks it's probably my fault not communicating well enough. Like, we've gone from pressing to chasing, and you get stretched and you get opened up and the gaps appear. And so we really focused this week on just staying really compact from back to front and from side to side, and picking our moments to go and win it so that we have numbers around it. And I thought, we did that pretty well. And then, it opens up opportunities in transition. So I think that, and then, the willingness to get in the box, get behind people and get in the box and not want to play in front of people, shows like Ollie getting on the back post there. Tino was a threat all night running in behind. And so, no, I thought it was good. We needed it.
It feels like Jaden Jones-Riley was a big piece, making some overlapping runs, getting those crosses in there. Thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think, I'm really proud of him. My heart breaks for him a little, at times, because he's, he was coming back from the ACL, and then he had the weird kneecap patella thing from an innocuous blocking of a shot, which set him back again. And so, I think it's almost like we're getting a new player midway through the season, a fresh start. And I thought you saw his qualities today, and his athleticism, and then when he's up for it, he's a handful for sure, and so I think you saw that, and really, really happy for him.
And then Kamara, you went from a bunch of striker options to really one or two striker options, but he's taking his opportunities, and you talked about how he has to get better and learn. 2 goals tonight. What do you think of Kamara and his development?
Yeah, no, I think Abu's taken his opportunity well, and he's learned lessons along the way, and you haven't had to tell him twice, and you saw it. Like, I think that his first goal, the composure to go around the keeper and not panic was pretty fantastic. I didn't see the second one, but but he worked hard against the ball, and the big thing, and this is a little thing, he got dunked on or lost his guy in Brooklyn on a corner kick in the second half, and at the end when he's cramping, they had a corner kick and he locks his guy up and helps shove, to me, that's growth. We always knew he was dangerous in the box. It's for so many of them, it's the other stuff that, the last few weeks, like we've been really complicit in the results that we've done, but we've also been ruthlessly punished for every little thing that's gone wrong, And so those are the moments that stop you from being punished. And so that's what I'm most proud of him for.
I mean, it sounds like you basically, in a way, just answered this question, but what in a couple of succinct ways is the difference between this 5-1 result and last Friday's 1-5 result?
Grit, resilience, self-belief. I think we were, and I don't know that we're out of it yet, but in such a fragile place that, I thought we started well against Westchester, and then, the corner, and then the penalty, and then it's like, oh, here we go. And, they're just, it's amazing how fragile you can get in those moments where you just, I'll give you a main analogy. It's like when you're in the glade skiing and to not hit the trees, you look for the snow. But if you look at the trees, you run into the trees, and we're sort of always looking at the trees, in that stretch. And so, you just got to.
If you tip that edge once,
you've just got to control the controllables, which is doing every little thing right, and then the little moments add up to big moments.
So center back pairing tonight, to my memory, I think it's the first time we've seen Green and Fay matched up together. Thoughts on the center back pairing? Evans being on the bench?
I think they've played together before. I can't remember when, but no, I think I've got 3 center backs with all different qualities, and it's now trying to find the best combination, and it may be different horses for different courses. I think we still need an alpha male back there. I think the first goal is avoidable if somebody is just in charge. And somebody, no matter what somebody says, you kick the ball, you kick him, you kick everybody, and you clear your lines. And then you have a discussion about it later. And I think that's where we need to grow next. But I think, Kema's really good on the ball, and he can, aid in the build-up. Breck, with his left foot, and his defending ability is really good. And Prince is like, his rescue defending is unbelievable. In the air, he's unbelievable. He's a threat on set pieces. So, they've all got really good qualities, and I think it's just going to be a matter of, picking the right ones at the right time. And I think we're not beyond playing all 3 of them together either at some point.
I remember last year you would say, get the ball to Masashi because he's good and good things will happen. Do you feel like you have that same piece now with Diego?
Yeah, I think you saw what Diego's capable of tonight a little bit. I think it's just going to get better. I think, it's a two-way street, right? We've got to find Diego, and Diego's got to stay in areas where he's dangerous, and we can find him. Not get frustrated and drop deep and those types of things. So, but you saw, an open play, what he can do, and just little flicks and get out of trouble, and scored again. And so, yeah, I think he's only going to get better and better.
Diogo Barbosa seemed to be involved a lot more going forward in the attacking play. More so, I think, in games past, I recall him being a little bit more in the 6 and playing the destroyer role. Thoughts on him getting more involved going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think we call it 2 6s, so we don't really delineate between a 6 and an 8. But I think what you saw was, one, he played like, and I'm not saying he has it, but he looked like a real handful man tonight. The way he bossed people, the way he got on it, and didn't give it away very often. And I think his ability to play forward out of midfield is one of the best in the group. And so I think his ability to step in and win things and push on as a result of us being compact and seeing things in front of him and not worried about what's behind him, because he knows that gap's tight and he can step and win. And I think you saw what we saw when we signed him, and I think he's going to hopefully just keeps building.
So the return of the captain, Mikey Lopez, tonight, he gets in some 15-20 minutes at the end of the match. Where is Mikey along his recovery?
I mean, he's fit, he's cleared, he's healthy. It's unbelievable. We got video 5 days after surgery, and he was in the Ultra G, running as hard as he could. I don't know. I mean, might have weighed 12 pounds in the Ultra G, but he was, he was sweating and putting it in. And he's a great pro, and he's a great example to everybody else of what you want a 10, 12-year career. These are the things you have to do and the sacrifice you have to make. And I'm really happy. And I think you see just his presence on the bench, in the locker room, being in the lineup, being in the squad was huge for us.
How do we get in the Ultra G? I want to get in the Ultra G.
Yeah. Run a marathon weighing 98 pounds.
All right, let's let Coach go celebrate.
Can I just ask you, last time I was here, you mentioned the possibility of adding 2 strikers. Any update on that?
No. I mean, it's a difficult window. I mean, I think we're looking for an American, because that provides immediate help, right? With the visa process right now, it's 5 to 6 week turnaround time. And the problem is right now we're up against the silly season in Europe, where everybody's, we're competing with that sort of stuff. So we do have some things in the works, but it'll be probably next week before we're really sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.